Which players are the best in the NFC East? What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here to name my all-star team for the NFC East entering 2023. That's right, an offense, a defense, a special teams, and even a coaching staff. The best players, the best coaches across the Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, and G-Men. Before I do, make sure that you do spike the like button. Let me know in the comments who you root for in the NFC East, and let me know which players deserve to be named all-stars of the NFC East entering 2023. At the quarterback position, the leader of the team for the first time in perhaps a while, it's a quarterback not named Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts is the new top dog, and I'm sure Philadelphia Eagles fans got their dog masks on right now, baby, because they're like, yeah, that's right, we got the top quarterback in the division. His name is Jalen Hurts. Not only is he extremely talented, but I think Jalen Hurts would make an excellent leader for an all-star team such as the NFC East. Keep them on task, get them motivated, bring the team together. Jalen Hurts leads by example with his work ethic, getting better as a passer with every passing season. Jalen Hurts is a legit athlete, a really tough guy to take down, a fantastic rusher of the football, but most importantly, the guy cares, and his teammates see that, and it works for him. He's a winner. He's the quarterback of the NFC East. My starting running back is, of course, Saquon Barkley, by far the best running back in the NFC East. Saquon Barkley had the whole contract deal, but you guys know, if you're a BLV subscriber, if you've watched me for any period of time, you know that I'm a huge Saquon Barkley guy, even when everyone was hating on Saquon Barkley. And yeah, we don't really hear that anymore. I was backing Saquon Barkley. And I think Saquon is going to have an even better year than he did last year. I think last year is just the beginning for the actual prime of Saquon's career. Get ready. He's super explosive, a talent in the receiving game, a guy that can jump cut, make you miss, and explode for 80 yards. Saquon has the capacity to, at any moment, in any game, be the best running back in the NFL. The backup running back for Team NFC East, this is almost perfect because for a large portion of his career, up until now, he's basically been a backup running back. Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has been like the best backup running back in the NFL for a couple of seasons. Last year, he was more of the starter, taking over for Zeke as the lead back, but it was still a pretty heavy split in Dallas, and I think he would greatly benefit splitting with Saquon Barkley, and I think Saquon would greatly benefit from having an explosive change of pace back who can also catch the football, who can also explode for 80-yard touchdowns like a Tony Pollard. One of the most dangerous backs in all of football. I am super pumped to see what Tony Pollard brings to Dallas as a lead back in 2023. The number one wide receiver in the NFC East, man, it has to be A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is that dude. I think he's simply one of the most unstoppable wide receivers in football. His size, his speed, his catch radius, it's just ludicrous. It's tough to stop. You can put him in the slot on a big third down. He can go over the middle and catch that football. He can catch a slant, break a couple tackles, and create a huge play, even a touchdown, a breakaway run with great speed. He can go vertical and make plays with Jalen Hurts tossing him the rock. A.J. Brown is a special player. I have no idea why the Titans traded him, but Eagles fans are very glad that they did. At wide receiver number 2, I'm going with CeeDee Lamb, although I would say CeeDee Lamb is more likely to play in the slot than my number 3 wide receiver. Still, I think he's the second best receiver in this division. CeeDee Lamb is an excellent middle of the field target. He's really savvy and creative in his routes. He has very good quickness, stop-start capabilities, and deceptive speed. I'd like to see him get better as a downfield threat, but regardless, I think he complements A.J. Brown as a quicker, great after-the-catch player without having the huge body and frame of A.J. Brown. So I have CD as the number 2. The number 3 wide receiver is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin makes a very short list of wide receivers that have had 1,000 yards over the past 3 years. It's only like 6, 7, 8 guys in the NFL, and Terry McLaurin has been one of them with one of the worst quarterback situations in all of football. McLaurin is probably underrated because he's never had a great quarterback. He's never worked and operated in a great scheme, and he's rarely ever had great complementary receivers to take pressure off of him. That's why I believe Terry McLaurin is going to have his best season ever in 2023. I think he has the best deep ball thrower of his career. I think he has a great creative offensive coordinator, and I think he has actual Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel targets to take away pressure from him. He can do the same in NFC East, burning ya vertical and winning at all levels of the field. At the tight end position, easily the best tight end in this division is Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is a complete football player, and I think one of the most underrated playmakers in all of football. He can block at an elite level. He can catch. He has fantastic hands at an elite level. He had a really awesome Super Bowl performance that I think goes way under the radar. He is capable of getting vertical with enough speed. He's capable of winning after the catch in the screen game. This is a tight end that's in line, that can pretty much do anything. He's an old school coach dream in terms of a tight end prospect. And that's what he brings to the NFC East. Great balance as a tight end. Moving to the offensive line, at left tackle, Andrew Thomas of the New York G-Men. Andrew Thomas had a breakout season last year. He graded as a top 5 tackle in all of football. Fantastic. He was taking strides the last couple of years. Forward progress, and then finally a huge breakout. This guy's just a stud. He was worth the pick where they grabbed him, and he will be the blindside protector of Jalen Hurts for Team NFC East. At the left guard position, I'm going with a Philadelphia Eagle. Landon Dickerson, to me, is the best left guard in this division. There's not a great wealth of left guards. Maybe if you were to look at moving right guards around, maybe you could argue, but Dickerson's been pretty solid the last couple of years. Still a very young player, but he has graded inside the top 25 at the guard position the last couple of years. Played a ton last year for Philadelphia. Huge part of their running game. I expect him to have another good year this year. I think he's one of those players that's just gearing up to his prime. He hasn't quite hit it yet, but he's very close. At the center position, of course, I'm going with Jason Kelce. Who do you think I am? Okay, Jason Kelce's a Hall of Famer. The guy, to me, what stands out is the absolutely rare mobility. His agility, his movement skills as a center unlocks Philadelphia's run game in their best seasons more than any center I've ever witnessed in my life as a football fan. That's not an exaggeration. Jason Kelce's ability to move, to pull, to do things that a lot of centers can't do athletically is what has created the 2017 Eagles, the 2022 Eagles, teams that were utterly dominant on the offensive line. Plus, he's super smart, and I think he's a great leader. So he is the center for Team NFC East. At right guard, arguably the best offensive lineman in the NFL over the past 5 years. His name is Zach Martin, just an absolute cornerstone player of the Dallas Cowboys. They just always seem to have one of these guys every era of their football franchise. Zach Martin is a bona fide Hall of Famer at the right guard position. And finishing it off at right tackle, arguably another Hall of Fame player, Lane Johnson. At least in terms of talent, Lane Johnson has always been one of the freakiest right tackles in the game of all time. His ability in his movement, his power, when he's on his game, there is just not a right tackle that is as well built out of a factory to play that position. He is an absolute dog. On the defensive side of the football, starting it off at the edge position, arguably the best player on this team, Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. There's probably going to be times on this team where he lines up at linebacker, but man, this guy has found a home at edge where he just pops off as one of the most explosive defensive players you will ever witness in your lifetime. Phenomenal player. And I think him adding a little bit of size, a little bit of strength to his frame is going to make him that much more complete against the real big guys at the tackle position, setting the edge in the run game. It'll make him that much better. And he's arguably already the best edge player in football. On the opposite side, to thrive off of all the attention Micah Parsons is going to be getting, Hassan Reddick, which he's just always found a home on defensive lines that have a lot of other good players where he doesn't necessarily have to be the marquee name, and he always takes advantage of that. Last year, he put up huge sack totals. For a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of NFL fans, he was their most productive pass rusher. And I think he's a great just athlete. I mean, imagine a guy that was such a great athlete that teams actually thought, the Cardinals thought, he should be playing off the ball, right? This is a guy that maybe a little undersized, but so good at dipping and bending and getting underneath a tackle and being just a great agile athlete. He is a very, very good football player. On the inside of the defensive line, he has become one of the 3 to 5 best defensive tackles in football. The big man, Dexter Lawrence of the New York Giants, is my number 1 D tackle pick. An absolute monster. You know, one of the steals of that draft, truly, but looking back at it, he's a powerhouse and he pushes back interior linemen into the laps of quarterbacks. I don't think when you look at him, people would expect that he is such a good pass rusher for his size and his frame. Like, when you look at that guy, he looks like a run defender. He looks like a DJ Reader, a Vince Wilfork type. This guy can get to the quarterback. The second D tackle is Jonathan Allen. Talk about another guy that can get to the quarterback. Allen has been as productive as any D tackle in football, not named Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, over the past 3 to 4 years. He's really that good as a technician. He has a lot of different layers and moves to get to the quarterback on the inside, and he's a very good player against the run as well. Allen knows how to operate on a great defensive line. He will do so on Team NFC East. At the linebacker position, I will say this is one of the weakest positions in the division overall from a depth standpoint. Philadelphia doesn't have great linebackers. The Giants just brought one in. The Cowboys, that one might be one of their weaker areas, and obviously Washington, not so much. I would say that Bobby Okereke, I don't know what you call him. I keep getting, like, people keep saying that I'm wrong every time I say it a different way. So I've honestly just given up. My boy Bobby is going to be linebacker number uno. He had a breakout season last year in terms of recognition, as the Giants signed him to a big contract. But what he does very well, he's great in coverage. He's able to really, at a high level, sway sideline to sideline and break on the football to make tackles. He has great athleticism, great agility, great speed for a linebacker. When your linebacker is fast, your defense is fast. That's the case with my guy, Bobby. The second linebacker is going to be Leighton Vander Esch. LVE had a huge breakout, kind of bounce back, I should say, season of his career. As a rookie, he looked like the next guy at linebacker, like the next Brian Urlacher. I mean, really. But he slowed down with injuries. Last year and the year before that even, I feel like he's gotten a good hold of what he is at this point physically. And he's just a very smart, instinctual player that also combines intelligence with great length. His ability to bat down passes, get in passing lanes is really difficult for quarterbacks to deal with. At the safety position, I've been doing a free safety, strong safety type of deal with this. First, I'm going to take my free safety, who technically is more of a box player, Donovan Wilson of the Dallas Cowboys. Donovan Wilson is one of the best tacklers, one of the best shoot, see it and shoot players in the NFL. He is so good at finding the ball carrier, finding the ball, breaking up passes, being around the ball. He is a playmaker at this position. The reason I say that he's more of the free safety is because I'm teaming him up with his teammate, Curse. That's right, Jaron Curse is going to be his teammate in the safety secondary position. Curse is that hybrid do-it-all safety. He can play man coverage against tight ends. He can play zone over the middle of the field. He can play near the line of scrimmage and blitz or defend the run. He's got great length, great size. He's a great fit for this defense. At the corner position, my number one corner, believe it or not, some people will disagree with this. The best corner in the NFC East is Stephon Gilmore. And I don't care what people say, he is. Already we've seen Stephon Gilmore at Dallas Cowboys camp correct CeeDee Lamb in his route running, tell him how to get better. This is the thing that Stephon Gilmore does better than anybody. This is why he's a future Hall of Famer. His ability to pick up on body language, offensive tendencies, wide receiver tendencies, route running recognition, his ability to see patterns, break on these route combinations, and be able to just be a technician. He is the best in the division. He's maybe slowed down a step, but I still think he's the best talent and at his best, the best player in this corner group. At CB number 2, I'm taking another veteran from Philadelphia, Darius Slay. I love the Slay-Gilmore combination here. Two guys that know what they're doing. Two guys that have seen a ton of football, a ton of different receivers. Two guys that can play off of each other in a unique fashion. Slay is more of a zone guy, more of a break on the ball type of guy, but he has also an incredible savviness and sense for wide receivers. And I think him and Gilmore would be great together. At the nickel position, this was tough. I was initially going to go with Avonte Maddox. I even thought of different names here. Like, I thought of potentially going with a safety here. Like, do I try to get Cameron Curl on this team somehow? Do I maybe move Xavier McKinney into this spot? What do I do with this spot? Could I go with Dory Jackson? I mean, I could go a bunch of different ways. But ultimately, I'm just going to put Trayvon Diggs on the field and we're going to figure it out later. Like, maybe Gilmore moves to the nickel spot, whatever. Maybe Curse plays there. But Diggs is just such a playmaker. I'm going to put him at nickel. He's going to play around the ball. He's got good size. and we'll figure it out from there, man. He's just that good right now. Like, I think he's entered the top 15 corners in the game. I think he's more than what people thought he was, just a break on the ball type guy, an interception guy. He's more than that. We've seen him lock people up. Trayvon can play, man. He's going to be my nickel corner for this team, at least to start. That is your NFC East defense. The specialists for Team NFC East. At the kicker position, with a huge year in 2022, Graham Gano was a clutch money kicker for one of the teams that really dedicated their season to winning in the fourth quarter, winning at the end of the game, winning on the margins in situational football. And without a great kicker, that simply doesn't work. Graham Gano of the Giants is the best kicker in the NFC East and the representative of the NFC East. At the punter position, Tress Way of the Commanders. Tress Way has been one of the top 10, flirting with 5 best punters in football. Very consistent over the last few years. And that's what I love with a punter. If he can be consistent, you know what you're getting from him. That's what you have to love season to season. At the returner spot, it's gotta be Turpin of the Dallas Cowboys. This guy was so crazy explosive last year. Sometimes he has these weird runs where it seems like he's running in the wrong place. But man, he's so quick, so fast, so explosive, it doesn't matter. He is a home run, and he is one of the most electric players to watch with the ball in the entire NFL. The coaching staff for Team NFC East is maybe one of the best in the entire NFL. At the head coaching spot, you could argue for 2 different guys here, Sirianni or my selection, the coach of the year, Brian Daboll. I'm a big Brian Daboll guy. There's a little bias here because he is a Patriot guy. He comes from the New England system, the New England thought, Bill Belichick tree. He began as a position coach. You know, he saw Alabama with Nick Saban. He went to Buffalo. He built up Josh Allen's confidence as the offensive coordinator. He had the experience of tight end with Rob Gronkowski. I mean, the guy's been around the greats. He's a fantastic play caller, a great culture builder, just uniquely himself. I think he's a great coach, a great offensive mind, and the head coach of my choice for this team. At the offensive coordinator spot, I would love the mesh of Eric Bieniemy and Brian Daboll. The reason why is Eric Bieniemy already was a very successful offensive coordinator for a offensive-driven mastermind head coach in Andy Reid. So having that same sort of deal with Brian Daboll, I think that would put Bieniemy in a great position to be successful for this team. At the defensive coordinator spot, as big of a Don Martindale fan as I am, honestly, I'm going with Dan Quinn. I never thought I would say this 3 years ago, but Dan Quinn has evolved so much to the point of really impressing me. I think whenever a guy can turn what he's done on its head and really change and evolve, plus a lot of these players are Cowboys players on the defense, you got to factor that in, not Giants players. So I have more trust that Quinn would get this going because he's already had an elite defense. So Quinn has a good sense of coverage, good sense of when to blitz, when to send zone blitzes, when to play zone, when to play man. And he's gotten a lot better because of his diversity now in his scheme, where he can be a lot better as a game planner. I think Dan Quinn has been fantastic with Dallas. That is Team NFC East. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, guys, please make sure you Gronk spike the like button. It really does matter for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully other people can check this video out. Gronk, spike it for Brian Daboll, and we'll see you in the next Division All-Star video. Peace.